Hello, and welcome to another update video on Solana. I'm here on the daily time frame. The daily time frame is important because here we can currently just see the overall context, and we can see very well that the price has now reached the trend line. We'll see if there's a reaction. At the moment there isn't. You see quite some downside pressure today. I explained that also in the Bitcoin video. I think I showed you Bitcoin dominance, and overall Solana obviously suffers with Bitcoin dominance going up. And also we are in this correction. I mean, we saw it already a few days ago, right? I mean, when our initial support broke at 217, well, that was an indication we're in a larger correction, right? And so the updated support area is ranging all the way down to $173. So we'll see if we get a reaction here. It doesn't mean we have to get a reaction, so we have to watch these levels closely. I mean, that's the benefit, right? That we get these key levels here that we can observe. So far, there is no real reaction yet, but I can tell you that this area should be observed closely, especially $198, $187. What we can also do is take a look at the relative strength index. So while we have no low confirmed, we are approaching, getting closer to oversold territory. There's still a bit of room. But the market, or the RSI, you could say, broke down from the 12th of September within like a couple of weeks from an oversold RSI on the daily to, well, to a nearly oversold one on the daily. But we're not oversold yet. We're currently around 37, 38. This is where Solana turned around in August. Quick reminder. Down here, in a messy and choppy rally, which was still nice to follow. And now we're correcting again. So we'll see if the market can find support somewhere in this box, maybe even get an oversold RSI. That's typically quite interesting. We're already oversold, I think, on the RSI 4-hour. Yep, we are oversold on the 4-hour RSI. Not so relevant, but this is also exactly the spot from where recently, and let's put that onto the chart, where recently, I'm gonna remove the MACD. Don't want the MACD. Don't need that. Let's look at, where were we oversold on the 4-hour. It's not so meaningful. The daily RSI is more meaningful. I have to say that. But look, we have now oversold, significantly oversold on the daily. And we're currently in a support area here. We had oversold on the 4-hour before in August. Well, that was where the daily was also not oversold, but nearly oversold. So we had a bounce here from the trend line as well. And then we had a reaction here. That was in June. Okay, good bounce. Bit of a bounce here, but they were not major rallies. And then we had one here in April. I mean, in downtrends, when we're really in a larger downtrend, an oversold 4-hour, it typically leads to a bounce. I mean, you see that there are typically some reactions. Also here there was. Let me zoom in a bit. You see that better? Yeah, I mean, there was. Obviously a reaction here as well, but it was small, right? And that doesn't always play out, right? But we had a bit of a bounce here as well. So at least the bounce is getting likely. I mean, even from here, right? From that oversold one in June, yeah, it was still 20%. I mean, it was not a rally to new local highs, but it was still a nice counter trend move. So it is something to keep in mind, okay? Again, I don't want to give you hopium, but those are the things that we're looking at from an analysis point of view, especially given that we have now at least what I would consider a 5-wave move down in wave A. I already mentioned yesterday that a B-wave bounce is due, not necessarily overdue, but with a 5-wave move down, it's due. The market slipped a bit further has moved down now to the 50% retracement. And I mean, I just want to address a question I received on Discord earlier today from some of you. And the question is, how deep can it go? I mean, there is no limit how deep it can go, right? But in this B wave that I'm tracking, it shouldn't go below $173. But with a 5-wave move down, we're looking for lower prices, right? And would rather treat any move up as a counter trend move, for example, in this white B wave. The resistance area, I just need to adjust it slightly, is now between $217 and $240. But you can never say how low can it go, right? You need to understand when you're trading something, when do you want to get out? Now, the first warning we got was at $217. So since that was a break up below our first micro support. And since then, the market has dropped another nearly 10%. So again, you gotta know when you want to stop out before you enter a trade, right? That's always the case. I don't have any long trades set up here. I don't have any 1-2 set up to the upside, right? I'm just sharing with you a broad support area where the price could react. To be fair, we don't need that upper section there anymore. But yeah, you see that here with next support 199. I mean, there's a bit of a cluster of support, previous swing lows, and then 188 and 173. These can be watched. And I think a B wave bounce is likely. We have an oversold RSI. I'm just sharing with you the data, right? We have an oversold RSI on the 4-hour, nearly oversold on the daily. And the Elliott waves show us a completed 5-wave move down, which could have been classed complete yesterday already, to be fair, but it extended. So again, until we actually see a reaction, the market is in sell-off mode, something that happens every few months in crypto. And now we've reached, however, a trend line. So I think there's a case to be made that we could get a bounce, but obviously for anything else, you need a crystal ball. But I'm just sharing the data with you, and I think a bounce is probable. It was already probable yesterday. We got a bounce. It was weak, though. Don't think that was the B wave yet. So, and it will depend on Bitcoin as well, right? When Bitcoin starts a bounce, probably Solana will do as well. And then we have to pay close attention to, well, first of all, the Bitcoin chart as well, but then Solana's resistance area here. Levels should be clear, and below $173, the orange count would become more probable that a larger top has already formed, but we will stay close to that when it happens. So I'll keep you updated. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, I invite you to join us on X for additional charts, news, and updates. You can find the link in the description and in the comment section. I also posted here about Bitcoin dominance earlier today. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.